Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Maj Toure Show. I am your host, Maj Toure. Y'all know the routine. We're going to talk about it. Right wing influences exposed. Paid 7K per post to push Israel's propaganda and agenda. Thanks, everybody, for tapping in. Y'all know the routine. Tell me what city you're watching from. Comment in the section. Hit the like button. Share this all over the place. I don't get $7,000 per show to do this like some of the influencers do, and I will never take ads on this show because I want to be able to say whatever the fuck I want to say, and that's the reason why. So we need, in order to do that, to spread it all over the place, the show is free. Need y'all to do a few things. One, repost it. If you're watching on X, just hit the repost button. If you're watching on YouTube, copy and paste, share it somewhere else. It's free, cost you nothing, a couple of seconds, as well as support the actual work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. You guys know we do Second Amendment work, community work, conflict resolution. We've done that work for about 8 years now. All of the classes have been free to all because we don't have people paying us $7,000 per whatever. And that happens because of your voluntary donations. We got 30 days left to purchase our building. We pushing to get that done. We need about $45,000. So we're doing it, and we're pushing very, very hard to do that. So, guys, tonight's topic, I was going to avoid this topic for a while. And the reason why I was going to avoid it is because there's so many people speaking to this topic that when I just let people talk about what they're talking about. Our focus primarily, self-improvement, self-defense, community stuff, all of that, right? All of those are things that is what my wheelhouse is. And your one wheelhouse will take you into other wheelhouses. You start talking about firearm safety and training, you're going to start talking about the Second Amendment. Talk about the Second Amendment, you're going to start talking about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, so you need a civics class. So things go from one area to another for sure when you're trying to make people more holistic and well-rounded. And that's our work at Solutionary University. That's our work at the Solutionary Center. That's been our work with BGM. However, in watching so many people have this conversation, and then the death of Charlie Kirk, then the questions that, my good friend Thomas Massie has said about AIPAC years ago, right? I start to ask myself, am I doing my community a disservice to not have a conversation about this? But it has to be credible. It can't just be the Jews. The Jews. I have friends that are Sephardic Jews. I have friends that are Ashkenazi Jews. This whole we got to blame everybody thing, I'm always careful of that. I hate when white people do it. Oh, it's the blacks. Those bigots, I hate it. So whenever I talk about something and bring it to y'all, I want to make sure that it's thorough. I want to make sure that I'm being objective. So when I land somewhere, it's a clearly defined position based on, I know I came in objective. I listen to people that already, are well-versed in the topic, in the subject matter, and I evaluate what they say, and I do and I'm going to be clear. I'm not going to say research like I was pulling out Bunsen burners and beakers, but just in looking, antiwar.com has a whole lot of good information on this type of shit. And then me knowing how corrupt governments generally are. Government as a concept is a mafia. So when you evaluate all of this, and I ask myself, should I speak on this? And then I start seeing things, and I'm like, I got to talk about it. But before I can talk about it, I'm going to watch the room. Because I'm not a Jake Shields, it's always the Jews. And I'm not a Brandon Tatum, the Jews can do no wrong even though they spit on me type shit. He literally said that. Okay? Meaning literally only got spit on once when he was over there in Israel. And then I land in a place, and then I have to come tell y'all what I found out. I have to tell y'all my perspective. I expect you guys to give me some pushback on this tonight. I expect y'all to be like, get the fuck out of here. However, I don't expect y'all to say I'm saying it because I got $7,000 to say it, or some other Qatar gave me $20,000 to say it. No. Okay? I've told everybody I got a sellout number. It's $800 million. Qatar, the Jews, CIA, somebody show up with $800 million. It's a wrap. Let's go look at my old shit. Don't listen to me no more. Okay? However, when I see this post about Israel paying influencers $7,000 a post, my mind goes, there's something I'm missing here. Something in here that I just don't know. So tonight we're going to get to the bottom of that, and I want to hear you guys' perspective. Again, guys, if you're tapping in, please, please, please hit the like button. Share the space all over the place. We always need 10 people at $20. That's not nothing. Everybody should actually do it for Super Chats. This funds our other actual work. Me being independent, not in nobody's pocket. I get to say whatever I want, and I might just not be able to go to Israel until they show up with $800 million. But anyway, let's read this article real quick right here. Netanyahu is first. This is from Responsible Statecraft. All right, try to give works cited to all of the sites that we pull this stuff from, and any of the pages that I pull up when I'm going over this stuff tonight. If they're a social media page, give them a follow. I want them to get their credit for these things. All right. Israel is paying influencers $7,000 per post. Netanyahu referred this week to a community pushing out preferred messaging in U.S. media. And boy, are they making a princely sum. In a meeting dedicated to harnessing pro-Israel media energy on Friday, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu alluded to a cohort of Israel's influencers. Quote, "We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. That community, they are very important." Being paid by Israel to post on social media is also very lucrative. According to previously unreported recent documents, these influencers are likely being paid around $7,000 per post on social media such as TikTok and Instagram on behalf of Israel. I want to be very clear, y'all. When I say Israel, I mean the Israeli government. I'm always going to make that distinction. I know people get mad at me because it look like I'm trying to play both sides of the fence. I'm trying to be objective, and I'm not if I'm trying to be offensive to you, it's because you were rude to me. I try my best to not be unnecessarily offensive to anyone. If I'm offensive to you, I wanted to be offensive to you because you're probably a dick eater, and I don't like you. But I don't want nobody catching unnecessary strays. When we're talking about what governments do, the people generally, as we are right now in this world, the people generally don't have control over what their heads of state and their government does. So I'll give that disclaimer. I'm going to go full pedal at this point. So now y'all know my intent. Okay? It's not to offend anybody unnecessarily. I've got that fucking homework out of the way. Now let's get back to it. Bridges Partners, a firm working for the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the government, sent a series of invoices for its influencer campaign to Havas Media Group Germany, an international media group working for Israel. The irony of that. Havas Media Group Germany. But anyway, an international media group working for Israel. The invoices detailed a sum of $900,000, starting in June and slated to end in November for a cohort of 14 to 18 influencers to create content. The document, which was filed under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, notes that the funding is for both payments for influencers and production, but does not provide a breakdown between the two. When taking into account the administrative production costs through September 16, legal fees, banking fees, marketing fees, and other project services noted in a separate document, that leaves an estimated sum of $552,946 for the influencers between June and September of this year. The firm estimated that the cohort was expected to produce 75 to 90 posts in that time. Doing the math, that will be $6,143 per post on the low end. On the high end, each influencer could be making as much as $7,372 per post. It is not clear which influencers are participating in the program. Let me stop right there for a second. You're going to start hearing some of these guys, and y'all will see them. I'm going to show some of these people, the gay guy with the blonde hair, just a bunch of them. I don't have no relationship with these people. I don't give a fuck about these people. These people seem to rush to want to do everything and talk about every other fucking country but I never see him doing nothing for the hoods all across America. Okay, so the people that I name, I'm going to name. I don't give a fuck about these people. I don't have no ill will towards them. I don't know them. But I'm always questioning why people got to be highlighted, especially black gay dudes. There's so many Sephardic Jews in Israel that y'all got to like get the gay non-Jewish dude from America to be this fucking step and fetch it for you. Okay? But nonetheless, never mind the fact that Amari Stoudemire, ex-NBA player, has an amazing relationship with the Torah, has businesses over in Israel and all of those different things. Nonetheless, okay? These people are being paid. But what's going to happen is, since the paperwork doesn't have names on it, these people are going to act like, I didn't get $7,000. I bet you when we go over some of these people, later on, they're going to be like, I didn't get no money. Show me the receipts. They're going to be bold about the receipts because things sometimes are written in company names. You just got to do a little bit more investigative journalism and research to find that out. But anyway, Bridges Partners founders are Yair Levy and Yuri Steinberg, who each own a 50% stake in the firm. Bridges Partners describe its work as assisting with, quote, promoting cultural interchange between the United States and Israel. The firm, which lists its business address in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Washington, D.C. Of course it does. Of fucking course it does. Has also enlisted the help of a former major in the IDF spokesperson unit, Nadav Skrockler. I don't know how to say that. For legal counsel, Levi and Steinberg have turned to Pillsbury Winthrop Shaw Pittman, a firm that previously worked for controversial Israeli spyware company NSO Group. So now we already got the IDF. We got Capitol Hill. This is a media play. We already got a company that's headquartered in Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. They have relationships with the IDF, and they have relationships with law firms that have worked for an Israeli spyware company, NSO Group. This is a media campaign of only less than $1 million, not $100,000, which ain't a lot of money, right? Considering. Specifically targeting to make sure this situation happens. Now, I want to be very clear about this. This is how the game is played. When I had these conversations with y'all about our merch, media, most effective devil in America. These ain't just cool t-shirts that I'm saying just to be saying. I'm saying this is what they do. When a bunch of money gets packaged for something, the reason why you and our channels don't reach all of the people that we have, let's say if you're watching this on X right now, I think I got 60,000 followers on X, right? There's a reason why my reach doesn't reach all of the people that choose to follow me, 50,000, right? Why? Because those companies say we're going to throttle them so they don't reach all of their people, but they stay on the app for longer because the big Fortune 500 companies need to pay advertising to us as X, to us as YouTube. So that chronological order shit then went out the window. Okay? They're throttling and making sure that certain pages get reached and certain don't. Tweet cred is a thing still, even though Elon said he was going to change it 2 years ago when he bought the shit. Nonetheless, the name of the game is advertising and media. Propaganda, PR, advertising. That's the name of the game. Y'all watched Mad Men. Y'all watched Scandal. Y'all know the Olivia Pope thing. This is all real. Okay? So when I say media, most effective devil in America, don't think that this is just something that the Israeli government is doing. We just had Zuckerberg not long ago, maybe a year or so ago, testifying at Congress, or not long ago, that, hey, the Biden administration leaned on us to do certain things and censor certain speech. Most effective devil in America. And it's not just the Israeli government. But for tonight's conversation, this is what we're talking about and how this relates to you. What does this do to a young man, a young woman? What is the interest? What is their reason? Why? That's what we're going to get to the bottom of tonight. Guys, if you're just tapping in, if you're coming in a little bit late, let me know what city you're watching from. Comment. Let's get the likes up if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on X, hit a repost button. Don't cost you nothing. Let's continue reading. Again, controversial Israeli spyware company NSO Group. The Bridges Partners campaign is titled Esther Project, a name which bears resemblance to Heritage Foundation's Project Esther, a campaign to fight anti-Semitism by branding critics of Israel as part of a terrorist support network. A Heritage spokesperson informed Responsible Statecraft that there's no connection between the Heritage Foundation's Project Esther, announced October 2024, and Bridge Partners' Esther Project. All right, that's this guy. So, y'all, let's be very clear. If you think that this is just par for the course and there's nothing to see here, you're out of your mind. You're literally 100% out of your mind. And I'm not mad at you for taking that position initially. However, when the information presents itself, you have to start doing one. And now let's not even play the stretched out thing. 1000% the Israeli government is involved in the influence of our politics and our media, and it's not even a fucking question at this point. It's not even a question. And the fact that they'll go to so many covert, meaning the guys that are there, that are playing around with this shit, the influencers that's acting like they aren't paid to be influenced, you're fucking liars. Now, just because you got a separation, I get it. That's like opening up a trust. We don't want to have a company under another company, and I get it. But stop it. The jig is up, okay? But let's go through some of these things. I've been informed by an attendee of the covert Bill Ackman engineered Hamptons Influencer Summit that all of the participants were invited on an Israel propaganda tour. The tour was managed by Newsmax. Newsmax is now sponsored by Israel's foreign ministry. Now, these are some of the influencers. Now, this group right here, this dude's a fucking clown. This kid here, CJ, I don't even know these. I know this chick here from somewhere. This is the gay dude, and I don't know who the fuck this is. All right? They're searching for these low-key, like, bottom of the barrel people that like they could get for cheap to just say so much backwards shit. Now, here's one of the videos. I want to get to some of this stuff so we can get you guys back to the discussion and get it all in chronological order. But this is one of the videos that is out there as this is supposed to be the representation of how Americans feel about Israel. Let's play this real quick, and I want you guys to give me your perspective real briefly.
Imagine supporting people who start wars just to lose the wars so they can cry about it and then try it all again.
You must see anti-Semites are literally obsessed with Jews. Now walk with me. While you must see anti-Semites are stacking eviction notices, Jews are out here stacking up businesses.
Jews control all the industries. Maybe if you spent more time taking notes from successful people, you wouldn't have to spend your nights and weekends spreading hate from your anonymous account with an anime profile picture.
Do you work as hard as Jews? Do you network like Jews? No, because you're too busy cheering on a group of musty terrorists who smell like dirty earring backs. And if we're gonna keep it real, you're really mad because your income is giving side hustle.
Period.
How you gonna hate from outside, Shabbat? You can't even get in.
This is some of the most cringe, goofy shit in the world. Somebody got fleeced. They got fleeced for their legacy, meaning this type of content creator. Because you could have created content on a whole bunch of things and steered clear of this shit. If y'all got the 7K, but I promise y'all they about to all start lying, saying they didn't get 7K. I bet you. Because it's layered. I get it. I know how man, listen. You could supply a whole block and never be on the block. I could supply who supply you. All right? So these guys are going to start doing this, but I don't know who got fleeced more. The content creator that puts out this stupid shit? Or if you gave them 7K for this shit, this ain't worth 7K. They shot this with their phone walking in the street. And it's cringe. And it's not going to be nothing that the general public is like, absolutely, this is so dope. Oh my God, this is so amazing. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just not. the media campaign that is needed to convince the general public that this is okay, it has to be a constant thumb. Why? Because of things like this. Because of things like this right here. Check this out. 32% in U.S. back Israel's military action in Gaza. A new low. A new low. Americans' approval of Israelis' military action in Gaza has fallen 10 percent points since the prior measurement in September. And now it's at 32%, the lowest reading since Gallup first asked the question in November 2023. Disapproval of the military action has now reached 60%. Now, I'm going to be fair with y'all. I generally don't look at polls, just polls. I don't look at these political polls as the end-all be-all, right? I just don't. However, when you compare that with sentiment via social media and the opposition, and you see how hard the Israeli government is attempting to package this situation to make it look like everything's okay, you factor all of that and you go, hell no, something's not right here. And what they usually do is the same thing that if I say all gun control is racist, right? Some angry white folks that may be bigoted on the liberal side or conservative side will say, I'm being reverse racist or I'm playing the victim. They'll give a name to you to try to make it seem like the road that you're on is not okay. So you pay however much you pay to this dude, Xavier, and these chicks and these people to start now going ad hominem attacks because you need to redirect the narrative. But when you factor all of what's happening, this is the reason why Americans did not approve of the Vietnam War, because it started being shown on television. And now via social media, even with Elon censoring certain pages that are calling this out all the time, because yes, he did. Yes, he wants Suleiman. He 1000% got rid of Suleiman's blue check and started downranking that his X page because he was constantly talking about that. Elon Musk did that, or this Twitter under his regime, right? So because it's now being televised and so many young people have access to so much information via these phones, now they're trying to get ahead of it and change it. And they think, like the Democrat Party, that speaking to celebrities and entertainers is going to be the thing, but it's a new fucking day. Kamala Harris tried to trot out the influencers to help her get a presidential election. Nobody gave a fuck about Meg Thee Stallion twerking at a political event. So similarly, now the Israeli government, in conjunction with the United States government and this administration, because Trump has been the best friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. I don't care what you're talking about. Trump has been it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for him. So now you got this situation, and they're scrambling, trying to come up with ways to try to reconvince the youth. But the problem is, here's where they were winning. When it was just the extreme right wing, almost like hate group type content, it's the Jews are bad, when you got goofballs, the Nick Fuentes, that are clearly fucking bigoted, when you have those people saying it, you actually could run cover. Because everybody goes, oh, the Jake shit. When it's just you Jews are evil for being Jews, you could run cover under that because it could just look like actual anti-Semitism. But now y'all run that play too much, and now everybody's an anti-Semite when they just start asking questions. You guys can use drones to target leaders and pagers to blow up leaders of certain terrorist organizations, but for some reason in the Gaza Strip, you got to level the whole bitch and make it look like a parking lot. Why? You are the most sophisticated military intelligence situation damn near in the world, even though your state's the size of fucking New Jersey. But just dudes hanging out on fucking makeshift hang gliders were able to come through October the 7th and none of your intelligence knew anything. The stories about Bibi knowing about that ahead of time have been all over the place. So from a tactical standpoint, if you let them do the dumb shit, so you then can come levy this whole town, destroying and killing a bunch of people That is literally ethnic cleansing is the death of fucking, that's the genocide. So then when you fast forward to Charlie Kirk saying this on the Patrick Bet-David show, then Charlie Kirk gets his fucking, now he's a convertible. There's questions that have to be asked. Then you double down and go on a tour. You start talking to the fucking head bootlicker in charge of Brandon Tatum. In what world would the president of fucking Israel need to talk to Brandon Tatum about? That's like the Dave Chappelle joke. After fucking Hurricane Katrina, MTV's asking Ja Rule about what he thinks. Nobody gives a fuck about what Brandon Tatum thinks at a time like this. Why? Why are you going to these people that you think are in control like Democrats do through the media apparatus? Why are you doing the same thing to go have this conversation to talk to these fucking mopes that do nothing to strengthen America? They think that people on the right are going to fall for the same shit that the Democrats thought that the people on the left would fall from, completely ignoring all of the access to information that we have. And when I start immediately coming in hot and going, you guys are on fuck shit. Having Jewish friends, I don't give a fuck if they get mad at me over this shit. Your Israeli government is 1,000% murdering and killing massive amounts of fucking people, men, women, and children in the Gaza Strip. It's not even a question at this point. So now, because you're losing the narrative, now you go, okay, let's reel them back in. I know we'll get a blonde gay dude sucking on a straw, walking up the street with a white chick looking like the most feminine cringe bullshit ever. We'll get these types of people, and then we'll pay them, and then we'll make it an invisible paper trail, and then they can say we weren't get paid, we just like Israel. Nowhere in their content creation life. When the fuck was Brandon Tatum talking about Israel 2-3 years ago? He wasn't. You goofballs got your marching orders because you're paid by people. Or at least controlled by people. You know why my pages don't blow all the time and they scared to have me on? Because I don't have no fucking master. I work for y'all. Fuck everybody else. Because everybody on the right and the left get real opportunistic and conveniently forget the American people, including Trump. I'm sorry, y'all gonna get mad at me over that. Some of y'all, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I could hold my nuts and really mean it. Ain't none of y'all ain't in shape. What Brandon Tatum gonna do to me? I'll fuck Brandon Tatum up. Okay? And this ain't just about him. He's just a clown. It's just more about this lack of respect that these media outlets and government have for you, the American people. So if I'm objective as hell and I'm going, wait a minute, hold on now. Let's not just say they're just killing, because I get it. You can't hit me, Hamas, Palestine, and then when I hit you back harder, now you crying victim. I was initially with that, open to that argument. I've been open to that argument. But then when I start looking at other shit, it's like, nah, that don't make sense. Let's read a little bit more. Again, disapproval of the military action has now reached 60%. Look at this. This shit is wild. Because television shows you the Vietnam War, Dr. Martin Luther King, this is one of his tactics. Huge shouts to Chad O. Jackson, who got mentioned by Killer Mike. And I hope those brothers sit down and talk about his approach to Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm not necessarily a fan of Dr. Martin Luther King's style. I don't turn that other cheek shit. I'm going to fuck you right up. I'm going to enjoy fucking you right up, right? However, I like Chad. Chad apologized to, or admitted that he was wrong on one of my takes. We sat down, we chopped it up. I like Chad. He got a company. He's a smart dude. I like Chad. Anyway, I don't necessarily agree with the Dr. Martin Luther King approach, but I understand that it was productive and effective. So when they started showing on television to most of America what was happening to black people that just wanted to sit at a counter. Now me, I don't go to a counter that I don't want to be at. A motherfucker don't want me at. Fuck your counter, pussy. That's how I am. That's me. I'm from Philly. Fuck your counter. We're going to build our own restaurant. I can't wait to finish building what I got coming. And I'm never going to leave a fucking compound, right? However, saying this to say, right, that strategy was effective in showing that most of America, white America included, wasn't cool with black people getting spit on and shot with hoses, and it worked. And so the same way, when media, social media is looking at this situation, they're going, nah, this shit ain't right. Y'all doing all of this shit to these people over there. This is these Palestinian people that don't have nothing. All of them wasn't fucking down with October the 7th. So now you're starting to lose the people. So now you got to double down and get back in with the most effective devil in America. Now you start leaning on the presidency. Now you got a president that during his first term was no new wars. Now you're still doing arms packages for Ukraine the second go round. Now Israel's our greatest ally, so we got to potentially get into a fucking war with Iran because Israel got beef with them. Mr. No New Wars first term. Fuck is up with that? And there's a lot of people that are MAGA or Trump supporters, and I'm not knocking you for being either. You just don't want to call out your man for his fucked up hand in this situation. The move is to make everybody just pick a team that's not Team America, Team Constitution, Team Solutionary. If I can get you to pick red or blue, you're going to turn a blind eye to when your team do some shit. So when you can't just obviously state, none of these influencers were talking about Israel this hard before a year or two ago. None of them were. Now, magically they are. You supposed to say, what the fuck is that about? Then you're supposed to do a little bit of due diligence or tap into the Maj 2 ratio and get some information on it. Listen to this. Americans' overall view of Israel. Look at this. Look at these numbers. Look at this. This is not a game. Now, again, I stay open, pause, because I want to be objective and I don't just blindly trust any poll, pause. These findings are from a July 7th, 2021, 2025. July 7th through the 21st, 2025. Gallup poll. As Israel's campaign against Hamas stretched into its 21st month. 2 years. Americans supported Israel's actions in Gaza in its initial reading in 2023, taken several weeks after the October 7th Hamas attack. Since then, this approval has outpaced approval in each survey, peaking at 55% in March 2024 before dipping to 48 in 2 readings later in the year. Americans sharply divided by party over Israel's actions. The decline in approval is driven by 16-point drops among both Democrats and independents, and has been the case since the start of the conflict. Independents, 25%, express higher approval than the Democrats, 8%. But both groups currently registered their lowest readings to date. In contrast, 71% of Republicans say they approve of Israel's action in Gaza, up from 66% in September. Why is that happening? Because the Republicans generally are in alignment with whatever their leader says. Trump has been the best friend the Israeli government has had in the White House. Whether that's for selling military equipment, whether that's, I don't know, maybe it's motherfucking you on a list that we aware of and we leveraging you that way. Maybe. Remember a few months ago when Elon Musk said the reason why the Epstein file list ain't come out is because Donald Trump's on it? Y'all remember that? When the band broke up and they had a internet beef like fucking high school kids? Remember that? Then after Charlie Kirk gets murdered, then it's for Charlie. Now y'all cool again? But we all just seem to forget that he said that? You got to quantify that. Was you lying then about that? Or are you lying now about that? But we don't, we got goldfish memories. And if everybody tapped into the Maj 2 ratio, if y'all share it all over the place, I can see when y'all repost it on X. If you're watching on X, hit the repost button. If you watch the Maj 2 ratio, I'm going to remind you, hey, remember that happened? That's just like everybody right now bitching yet again. Nobody's talking about the government shutdown. I told y'all for 2 weeks, a month, I said, hey, this CR conversation, continuing resolution, is going to come up. Nobody's talking about this. Now, Elon is talking about fucking Netflix getting canceled. Y'all said y'all was going to cancel Netflix when Shorties or Cuties came out a couple of years back. Come on, y'all. Meanwhile, Elon got motherfucking anime and porn all over the site talking about this. Meanwhile, Elon is a partner with his partner, same type of motherfuckers that bought TikTok, that the Israeli government and the United States government didn't sell it to China, but they sell it to fucking people in the Israeli government. Elon got relationships with the people that just bought something that's going to rival Netflix. But now all of a sudden it's about cancel culture. But people don't tie in the motherfucking dots. Y'all think it's about them being morally upright, and it's not. And now as the general public starts to see these things as it relates to the war and Israel-Palestine situation, okay, initially you guys did terroristic acts on October the 7th. Everybody up with it. Yeah, go handle whoever did it. Then after a while, you kill his mom, the guy that did it. He robbed you, he smacked you. Now you go kill him. People like, hey, whatever. Fuck around and find out. Then you go kill his mom. Then you go kill his dad. Then you go kill his sister. Then everybody's like, oh, wait, bro. Then you go kill his daughter. Then you go kill his... That's what people are feeling right now when they see in the death. And so they go, oh, absolutely not. But the Republicans stay with it because the Republicans don't want to say nothing loud because they've married a party or a person as opposed to the Constitution and limited government. The fucking American people don't have shit to do with any other wars. Unless somebody come try to smoke us or smoke one of ours, never mind the fact that the media didn't tell you, like last week, 2 weeks ago, Israel struck somewhere over there and killed 4 Americans. Ain't tell you that though. But unless somebody comes to try to bring smoke to us, the American people and the soldiers and all of that, we don't got a fucking thing to do with it. But the media, the influencers, the I don't want to look like I'm Trump derangement syndrome, the propaganda got most Republicans, a lot of them, scared to say that because they don't want to tell when their team is doing something wrong. Support for Israel's military action in Gaza by party ID. Look. The Republicans are making the Democrats look right. And we keep talking about this on the show. Bad tactics, bad PR, bad approaches. Because you don't want to look like you're agreeing with Democrats. This is why the founders of America didn't want us to do party systems. Party systems make you fight against the other party as opposed to fighting for what's good for America. So when solutionaries say the Trump administration is continuing to spend at Biden levels and even more after they campaigned against the Biden spending, you're not allowed to say that if you're Republican. Because you've associated Republican with the Trump situation totally. And that's not what the fuck it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to call balls and strikes. And this is why this chart looks like this. You don't want to look like you agreeing with Democrats. Fuck that. Broke clock, right? Twice a day. That goofy ass clock just happened to be right now. And this is the time when that clock is supposed to be right. Not only does it not have anything to do with us, it's contradictory to what we said on the right is what we want. I'm a libertarian that got behind Trump because I really thought he was going to be mad as shit because y'all stole the second one from us. I'm putting together a squad. That energy held up for about 2 weeks. After that, everything else, or a lot of the things that have come out of this administration have been a massive disappointment. Tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. Let's get the likes up too, guys. But let's read some more. Approval of Israel's military action in Iran slightly higher than Gaza. The July survey also asked about support for Israel's military action, targeting suspected nuclear enrichment in military sites in Iran. Currently, 38% of Americans express approval of this military action, 54% disapprove, 78% of Republicans, 31% of independents, and 12% of Democrats. Guys, this is how the power of media works. If I can tell you that, even though I've been telling you this since the fucking 90s, they got weapons of mass destruction. Iran can't be allowed to have a nuke. Even though Iran has been like, we don't have fucking nukes. We don't have the capability. We da-da-da-da-da-da. Your goldfish mentality, when I say goldfish memories is like 7 to 8 seconds. You don't remember Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom. You don't remember the fact that we just got to Afghanistan for a 21-year run. We left munitions and all of that shit, and that Taliban done took the bitch over. That was a waste of our fucking time. So you don't remember that, but your current goldfish memory says they got weapons of mass destruction because the influence via media, including social media, told you that they were evil. And you believed it. That's the power of media. You think that motherfuckers is buying. TikTok was sold for like $14 billion or some crazy number like that. Billion with a B. You are in the age where you are being coerced into supporting things based on people being packaged that you like to present something to you that you will have to separate from the people that you like on those things. But most people in America are not conditioned in the proper way as it relates to critical thinking, objective thought, nuance, and actual free thinking. Remember the first campaign of Trump? When they said, I'm an actual free thinker, they used that message and discarded it. You should be free thinking right the fuck now. Some of my friends are going to be upset with me because I'm saying this. If you my friend and you upset, cool, I get it. But you can say you're upset. You can't say I was deliberately disrespectful, and you can't say I'm motherfucking lying. Okay? These are things that you have to pay attention to. Do not get caught in this media most effective devil in America warping your mind because Trump about to be out of office. And the crazy thing is, some of the GOP gonna be like, I didn't vote for this. You did not vote for freestanding armies in Chicago. What the fuck does Border Patrol have to do but because you like Trump, you don't call it the freestanding army. I get it. I know the supremacy clause happens in the Constitution. I get it. And I get that the oath in the military is against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But they're allowing you to call American citizens, I'm not talking about unlawful immigrants. They're allowing that to happen under the guise of unlawful immigration to say we need a freestanding army here. While at the same time, did y'all know that the UK, a lot of countries in Europe, are now saying as early as October, you will not be able to get in their country if you don't give them biometric information. At the same time, Palantir, Elon Musk's partner, is doing business with the government to create more and more of a surveillance state. Elon's buddy. Did you guys know that Elon just tapped in and they was like, all right, cool, we're going to use Grok and these other companies to get another access. Meanwhile, the whole Dogecoin shit never happened. Pay attention to the whole fucking chessboard. But how they get you on board is they use the media format. If they can convince you to not call this a genocide when it clearly is a genocide, they've won. They can do it for anything. If just murdering children and men and women doesn't move you because those horrible fucking whatever terrorists in October the 7th, that was 2 years ago. Let's read some more. Americans' approval of Israelis' military action in Iran. Here we go. U.S. adults. Disapprove, 54. Approve, 38. Republicans, overwhelming. We are making Democrats look like the smart guys in the room. While estimates differ on how much the attack set back Iran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon, concerns that the action, which included a military assist from the U.S., could spark a wider war have not materialized. Netanyahu rated unfavorably by a majority of Americans for the first time. 52% of Americans now view Benjamin Netanyahu unfavorably, his highest unfavorable rating since 1997. The fact that Main Man has been there in that position since 97 is wild to me in and of itself. His favorable rating stands at 29%, while 19% of U.S. adults have no opinion of him. Until December 2023, Americans viewed Netanyahu more positively than negatively, except in 97 when he was less well known. In December 23 poll, Netanyahu's unfavorable rating far outpaced his 33% favorable rating, with the current poll showing a continued deterioration in his image. This is exactly why them motherfuckers are like, hey, we got to get a hold of this. We have to jump out here in front of this. This is exactly why you have them going to places, literally sitting down, talking to fucking influencers, and listen to what they're telling you. Listen, this is him, himself. Let me know if y'all don't hear it or some shit, but let's play.
So something I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same.
Wait, let me stop for a second, guys. Two things. One, he is going on a I'm cool, I'm down, I'm not murdering people tour. Let me talk to the media. It's the same bullshit that Kash Patel is doing. Kash Patel, you are the head of the FBI. You need to send a spokesperson. You trying to make it look credible, so you going yourself. Okay?
Ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And so specifically with Charlie Kirk's assassination, who was a big mentor of mine, he's my first mentor in the space, evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical
Listen to what he
support for
said.
the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside of the diaspora?
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane, their beliefs. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast money of government.
I want y'all to recognize how they adapt. He's going to say the same thing that it's the NGOs. They just like the left. If you criticize Israel, now you are just like the left. And he's speaking to people on the right. This is smart. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not act like these people are dumb. Okay?
Vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use
the influencers. The word itself tells you what it is. We are influencing people to do shit. Our tool is our influencers.
the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? The most important ones are social media.
apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is
TikTok.
TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. Exactly. Very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point.
They been had Elon. I'm telling y'all. I remember I did a space with Suleiman, and it had nothing to do with. It was one with I forget the guy's name, Mario Nawal, and Suleiman had me on to speak on one of their X spaces about gun related things. Suleiman had a blue check, obviously verified, good researcher. He started talking about Israel. Elon took away his blue check, deranked him, all of this other stuff. They want control of social media because it is the most effective devil in America, and it's like a social virus. If we can control the messaging, we can control the propaganda. We can control the propaganda, we can control the outcomes because we get people to do things. So we talk to the people that the people listen to. They are force multipliers. Okay? He's saying it himself right to you.
Right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yes.
Guys, anybody that says, now, let me be very clear.
So
If
something I
you
would like to raise, which was
got your bread from them, and I want to be very clear. I don't want anybody to think that my perspective is if you do business with Jewish people somehow that you're definitely under control. I don't even care if you got some nonprofit or something that gave you money to go. I don't care. What we're specifically talking about is this group of people that has literally been paid to influence people to act like this ain't what happened. That's what it is. That's what it is. Bookworm says they all want control of social media, world leaders. Absolutely. If it didn't work and if it wasn't effective, A, they wouldn't have spent so much time trying to censor you, right? They just paid ABC and some other, YouTube just paid the Trump administration millions of dollars because they unnecessarily took his page down, right? They wouldn't be trying to censor you and they wouldn't be trying to wrestle control over if it wasn't as deep. This is literally warfare. He literally just made the equation of this is a war. We're on a battlefield. We can't use swords. We may be able to use drones, and they know a whole lot about fucking using drones and killing people. But we got to influence. In order to allow people to be okay with us killing people, we got to fight this fight over here. It's a chessboard. It's a chessboard. These are some of the people, guys. What do we got here? Actually, let me make that a little larger. This is the event. Pharaoh registration shows Israel paid $900K for U.S. influencers from July to December of 2025. This is a list of identified pro-Israel influencers who attended Israel influencer events between August and September. Israel 365 trip to Israel, Bill Ackman's Hamptons retreat, Netanyahu's influencer event. Emily Austin, that's the chick that was in the video with this dude here. All of these people, and this is what their reach is across social media. Pro-Israel influencers have a collective reach of 18 million. If I can get 18 million people of influence by only spending $900,000, that's good money. Because if public support is behind this thing, and we get a chance to level all of the Gaza Strip and turn that into fucking Vegas and get BlackRock to rebuild it, oh, we living good. We're going to have generations of resources if we can keep the narrative going this way. It makes sense. If I was a super villain, I would do it too. But let's see who else. Oh, see this guy here? Cam Higbee. This is the guy that's now going over to pretending like he wants civil debate, going to the HBCUs, creating strife. You didn't go there for civil debate. Then he went to another thing and argued with vets. I got the video for that. And the vets was like, bro, you coming over here with this, with playing music? You don't want a civil debate. Had a big speaker. That's this guy here. My bad. This was the wrong Emily. Emily Saves America is the one who was in the video with this guy here. Right? They all look alike. All of these shills look alike to me. Xavier looks just like Cam to me. CJ Pearson, this goofball is super duper cringe. And here's some more of them. I don't even know these people. A lot of them I don't know because I don't traffic in the rooms where there's too many dick riders, wave runners. I don't traffic in them rooms. But these are some of the types of people that are pro-Israel. And then you ask them why. When did you become pro-Israel? I started to study it. I'm so glad I stopped saying that publicly because I was jokingly talking about the Torah and my own spiritual whatever. You know, when you get into the Bible, it takes you to the Torah and all of these different things. All I'm saying to you is this. I am so glad Did I stop saying that publicly a while ago? Because y'all would have thought I got the bag of money. And I promise you I would not be fucking fundraising to buy this building if I got the bag of money. And I promise you it wouldn't have been just for those $7,000 fucking dollars. Okay? So I don't know some of these people because I don't traffic in the fake circles. I stopped going to certain events because I'm disgusted by a lot of these people. Okay? I'm disgusted by a lot of these people. I had one with Jesse Lee Peterson, but I'm going to fall back off that one. A little quick video. But this is my guy, Ian. This is the chick, Emily. Emily Saves America. Right? Bookworm said, I forgot you were supposed to be converted. I tapped out right at the perfect time. I like some of the tenets of the Jewish faith. I do. They're very, very balanced, and I like it. When some of my Rastafarian friends can relate so much, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But I kind of fell back because I'm like, damn, you motherfuckers is on some other shit. But let's look at this. What happened? Money talks, I guess. This is MAGA Incorporated. People without actual jobs feeding you opinions to pay their bills. Nothing more than propagandists. This is Emily. I guess this is her sending them a DM or something like that. I don't know. Also, do you not think it's weird Israel pays everyone to go over there and make videos to promote it, etc.? Like, where else does that? I was confused when I saw the soldiers like on TikTok say they don't have gluten-free. I mean, you're right about the sponsors, LOL, literally. I see people at brunch in Israel and Gaza is literally like gone, and that's coming from a completely non-biased place in America. First, I do not give a fuck about either, never been, never plan on going. I don't agree with sending $1 until America and our vets are taken care of. Yeah, they're right-wing AOC. And who is this? Her. Over there in Tel Aviv, meat gobbling the wall. My sellout number is $800 million, y'all. I told y'all, if any of these governmental agencies is stupid enough to give me $800 million, hey, it's what it is. It ain't no damn $7,000. It ain't no $100,000, no. These people never did a hard day's work in their life. And they telling you a media spin, and they getting the Israeli government is getting a fucking wholesale deal from these people. If I'm able to influence 18 million in minds, let's say I get half of that, I'm only able to influence 9 million of those people that you have influence over. And I only spent $900,000. I got y'all for cheap. Y'all cheap hoes. Y'all cheap hoes. Cheap hoes. Super Weapon says, why not 999, not million, Maj? I don't know. I made the sellout number a long time before I had to make the Maj Toure backup page. Maj Toure 999. Maybe I should up the price. Y'all, listen to me. Here's what I'm going to say to y'all. This whole situation, and again, I do not think that every single person that went over to Israel is like, oh my God. I don't think that. I don't think that. Every single one of them? Nah. I don't think that. But these groups, cheap whores. Cheap whores. Let's read this real quick and then dip and let's wrap up. Guys, GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Support the work. Support the work. Support the work. You got super chats and all that other good stuff. Please support the work. Let's read this real quick. From Pro-Israel, because he was talking about TikTok. I think this is important. I cannot leave the show tonight without addressing this. Because it seems like I damn near come off anti-Semitic tonight. Let them tell it. Because I call them street whores for whoring themselves out for such a low number. Sluts. Cheap little $2 whores. Kim Kardashian would never. You feel me? Anyway, they said these things and I got to see, well, this TikTok deal did go through. From pro-Israel billionaires to Abu Dhabi royals, meet the new owners of TikTok. TikTok was sold for $14 billion to pro-Israel billionaires and Abu Dhabi royals, speaking fears of censorship content about Gaza. TikTok's future in the U.S. has finally been settled after years of legal battles, congressional hearings, and behind-the-scenes negotiations. Before I even go further, what the fuck does the government have to do with these apps? In reality, we are not supposed to be, government should have nothing to do with private fucking apps that are sold to people. That would be true if your government wasn't so damn corrupt. Your government is fighting for control of your mind because they can't silence you directly because of the First Amendment. Government can't get you. But they can turn your music down. They can turn your message down. They can tell that platform, if you do business with us, we got the buyers for you. We'll let you stay here, but certain conversations can't get had. This is literally what the Biden administration did during the COVID regime. Same thing. This is why government is shit. This is why I'm telling y'all, we as solutionaries got to make sure we principle. Yeah, I like Trump and his charisma, and he's entertaining. He's definitely more way entertaining and stronger leader than Kamala would have been, 1,000%. But I also go, no, that's bullshit. This is communism light. This is socialism. This is socialism, money. I'm going to link this person with this person. They going to buy it. Now it ain't the government doing it. But then the question becomes, okay, what happens when the left does it again? You going to complain if you on the right? Oh, the Biden administration is attacking conservatives on these platforms. They censoring us. You okay with the same thing happening here by not calling out your side when they doing it? Under the new $14 billion deal brokered by President Donald Trump, the app's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, has been forced to spin, forced. That is government involving itself in the private sector. That is communism. ByteDance has been forced to spin off its U.S. arm into a separate entity controlled by a consortium of American billionaires and Gulf royals. On paper, the deal is about national security and data privacy. However, in practice, it appears to be about power and control of one of the most influential platforms for young people in the world and how it will shape political narratives, particularly on Israel. What did Netanyahu just tell you? He just told you. It's an open subversive movement. TikTok's role in broadcasting images of Israel's war on Gaza and the way that has shifted American public opinion has been central to the pressure campaign that forced this sale. The new owners include some of the most prominent pro-Israel billionaires in the U.S., alongside a fund run by Abu Dhabi's ruling family. Why is TikTok being sold? The legal framework dates back to 2024, when Congress overwhelmingly passed a law requiring ByteDance to divest from TikTok's U.S. operations or face a nationwide ban. The Supreme Court upheld the law in January 2025. Lawmakers presented the TikTok crackdown as a national security matter, citing fears that China could access sensitive data, but some observers said it was about controlling narratives on Israel following the start of the Gaza war in October 2023. Pause real quick. They don't give a fuck about China having access to your information. They sell China right now debt and farmland close to military bases all over fucking America. That was cap. China owns a lot of American debt and a lot of farmland. Doing business with Ray Dalio, Bill Gates. They own a lot of farmland, mysteriously close to military bases all across the country. They don't give a fuck about China being the enemy per se. No, they want to control the narrative on who can spy on you. And if a Chinese company doing it, they can't do it. Your government hates fucking competition. What never about that bullshit. So let's get our people in here. And our people say, hey, we're going to cut down this Israel narrative. TikTok will fucking ban you for pointing the picture of post something about the Gaza Strip now. Bet you they immediately take it off. Do it too many times. Bet you they take your page. You are being sold out by your own government. Why? Because they know that you won't stand up and be a solutionary and say, it ain't about party. It's about what's right. It's about limiting government. It's about strengthening our people, our community, and finding your own tribe. They got y'all so fucking partisan that you scared to say that this is happening under your fucking guy's administration. Lawmakers presented TikTok crackdown as a national security matter, citing fears that China could access sensitive data, but some observers said it was about controlling narratives on Israel following the start of the Gaza war in 2023. The platform was flooded with videos showing indiscriminate Israeli bombardment of the enclave's civilian casualties, especially children, and Gaza solidarity marches around the world for the first time. Raw Palestinian voices were reaching tens of millions of young Americans in real time. If I can shift the narrative of the young people that become the political class in the future, I can get them from not being, hey, this is wrong, to maybe it's okay. Then I can control them when they become the political class. By October, November 2023, members of Congress were explicitly targeting TikTok over its Gaza coverage, with Senators Josh Hawley and Mark Rubio and Representative Mike Gallagher calling for banning the app, citing pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel content. It's always them fucking public servants that got money from fucking AIPAC telling you what a private fucking business can do. They don't know what Republican means. They don't understand separation of fucking public and private sectors. They understand it. They just don't give a fuck because you don't make them with their dual citizenship. House Republicans, and I like Josh Hawley. I've actually testified in front of Congress. He's usually good on some issues. I testified in front of Congress with Josh Hawley. House Republicans, including Kathy McMorris Rogers, demanded transparency from TikTok over alleged anti-Semitic and pro-Hamas content. The Wall Street Journal reported in December 23 that anger over Gaza's videos is one of the key drivers of the new push to ban TikTok. Senator Hawley explicitly pointed to anti-Israel content as a reason to outlaw the app. Fast forward, what's the terms of the deal? Trump signed an executive order. Executive orders, boys and girls, are ways that your government and president or the executive branch gets around the system of checks and balances. President Donald Trump has signed over 200 of these executive orders in his first 8-9 months in office. Executive orders and executive actions are supposed to be used very sparingly, mostly for emergencies. That's how you rule by decree. But what happens? When the next president gets in, if he happens to be a Democrat or she happens to be a Democrat, they write executive orders overturning your executive orders. And this pendulum keeps swinging back and forth. We go over this in our civics class. Every single person in here should be donating towards our work. We need all of the support we can get. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Donate $99 or more. Get access to all of these classes and stuff that I'm talking about. I sound like I know what I'm talking about because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I want everybody to get this understanding and capability and stand on you knowing that government is not supposed to be doing this shit. We have a class for that, a module for you. We need everybody's help. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. We need about 460 some odd more donors at the $100 level. Every donor over $100, we're going to get you access to Solutionary University, all of the stuff that I'm talking about. Firearms, understanding imminent threat, emergency preparedness, civics. This is all relevant. I keep yelling this at y'all because I'm like, yo, our country's going to fucking hell in a handbasket. Your public servants are doing it, but we too busy being partisan, not calling our side out. It's bullshit. An executive order in September 2025 outlining the divestiture. Under the deal, ByteDance will retain less than 20% ownership. This is a private company that is now being forced through executive action from the government under Trump. This is communism. That's what that is. And you only going to get 20% of the company that you created. While American investors will control just over 65%. Oracle, of course, Larry Ellison. Silver Lake and Abu Dhabi's MGX together will hold about 45%. All U.S. user data will be stored domestically on Oracle's cloud. Of course it is. Larry Ellison is the same guy that said, if you have a panopticon, and I'm paraphrasing, if you have a panopticon, basically a complete surveillance state, you'll get people to behave. Don't believe me? Google, Grok it, whatever yourself. Larry Ellison said that. To make Americans behave, you damn near need a constant fucking security state. Of course he did say that. Of course his cloud is going to be under that infrastructure. Oracle is Larry Ellison's company. Oracle will also license TikTok's recommendation engine, cutting off Beijing's access. The federal government will have backdoors through TikTok. Chinese people will get cut out so they can control the data, so they can censor, surveil, and monitor your speech and make you not talk about shit that they don't want you to talk about. Your government has sold you the fuck out a long time ago. Governance of TikTok US will fall to 7-member board, 6 of whom are Americans with cybersecurity and national security backgrounds. Government. Alongside 1 seat for MGX. The new entity is valued at $14 billion, far below ByteDance's $330 billion global worth. Trump hailed the agreement as a win for U.S. sovereignty. Bullshit. Telling reporters this is going to be American operated all the way. Now let's go to Oracle's links to Israel. Under CEO Safra Katz, Oracle showed strong support for Israel politically, economically, and militarily. Katz, an Israeli American, has publicly stated that employees who do not support Israel have no place at Oracle. Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison has long-standing personal financial links to Israel, including ties with politicians. Oracle donates military equipment to Israel and financially supports Israeli campaigns, including Friends of the IDF. IDF stands for Israeli Defense Force. It has partnerships with Israeli ministries and military, including involvement in AI, cloud projects used by the military. So all of the Chinese scary people information that the Americans is going to control, Oracle and that company that has, that's where your data going to be stored. Inside Oracle. There's been reports of suppression of pro-Palestinian voices and activism. Oracle's investments in Israel include underground data center in Jerusalem. Here's the owners. Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle, leads the consortium. Oracle already managed TikTok's US data and will now oversee its cloud systems and algorithm. Algorithm means we're going to show you what we program the algorithm to do. Ellison is also one of the most generous private donors to Israeli forces in the world. Oracle has collaborated with Israel on surveillance and defense projects, including in the occupied West Bank and Gaza, and Ellison is said to have cultivated ties with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the years. Rupert Murdoch, who controls Fox News, and much of New York's global empire are confirmed investors. Michael Dell, the founder of Dell Technologies, is also among the new owners. His company has supplied Israel's military and security sector with hardware, data, AI capabilities, often through Israeli startups. Another key stakeholder is MGX, the investment fund chaired by Sheikh Tahnoun bin Zayed, the UAE's national security advisor and brother of President Mohammed bin Zayed. MGX takes a 15% stake, yada, 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 the fuck yada. Guys, when our t-shirt, Most Effective Devil in America, is there, it's not just because I'm saying it to sound cool. The devil will influence you via illusions and visuals, not only what you see, but also what you don't see. So when you hear me say, hey, these guys are utilizing on the lower level, we're going to get a bunch of people to then go, we need the base of conservative people to be okay with the murder, because if the murder is okay in Gaza and the ethnic cleansing, before Charlie Kirk was murdered, and I have had my disagreement with Charlie Kirk, had definitely played the anti-black rhetoric bullshit. He did. That doesn't necessarily make him racist, but he fucking did. So I'm always going to say that. But before he was murdered, he sat right on Patrick Bet David's show and said, when he spoke to people over there, they're going to do an ethnic cleansing of Gaza. He said it. Okay? He did. Now, magically, there's this letter that Charlie happened to write before he died that was in support of everything that Benjamin Netanyahu is doing right now. Okay, if you believe that, I got a bridge in Philly to sell you. If you believe that. And matter of fact, I'm going to throw a Liberty Bell in for the low, too. If you believe that magically a letter showed up that Charlie Kirk wrote, even though all intents and purposes, including his videos and his statements on Patrick Bet-David, where he was very cautious on how he worded it, him saying, hey, they're going to do an ethnic cleansing, it's not far-fetched to say he was going to fall back off Israel. But magically, now there was a letter, and Charlie was going to come out and do X, Y, and Z, and it just so happens this is exactly what the ethnic destruction and the sale of TikTok, and this is exactly what Charlie would have wanted. Cat. If you believe that, you also the goofball that believes passports from 9/11 magically were found and weren't burnt up. You also believe that Tower 7, even though a plane didn't hit it, just magically dropped. You also believe that there was no airplane wreckage at the Pentagon, but a plane hit that too. I'm going to sell you that bridge in Philly for super cheap. Y'all, pay attention. Do not allow your partisan nature, because you want to own the left, to not make you call out the dumb shit that's being happening because your guy beat Kamala. I think Kamala is an absolute moron. But ironically, if Kamala would have been in office, Republicans would not be co-signing this thing right here if her administration would have tried it. We would have had some pushback. But because that's your guy, and you don't want to look like you're agreeing with the Democrats, even a garbage can gets a steak every now and then. That broke clock is right twice a day. You don't want to look like it. I'm agreeing with the Democrats. So you allow the government to damn near usher in a totalitarian, authoritarian state while they openly practice communism and socialism, while they contradict every single thing that they said, but you don't want to call it out. It's easier to pull it off when the Republicans and people on the right of the political aisle are quiet about it. Dr. Martin Luther King said, there comes a time where silence becomes betrayal. You are betraying your people right now by being quiet about this. Anyway, guys, shouts to Naturally Armed for the one super chat. I start giving y'all them bars and y'all don't be supporting the super chats or nothing. Damn, y'all. Thank you for that, Naturally Armed. Guys, support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. There's about 400 and some odd of you in here tonight. We talk about these things on the show because we need to make sure that we're talking about these things and getting them out in the world. So I'm going to ask you guys to do two things. One, share this space all over the place. I do not have Israeli influence all over me. Yeah, I've been at CPAC a whole bunch of times. Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff. I ain't got it. And I'm going to tell y'all, when the $800 million sellout number show up, there will be signs. Y'all see me over at the wall with the small hat on, you know I got the 800 million, but I promise y'all I won't sell y'all out for no $7,000 per post. And the reason how I'm able to do that is because we got to keep this work going and stay independent. Please, guys, support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I need every single person in here to donate tonight. If you're watching on X, don't say you're going to do it later. Don't say, Maj, I love what you're doing. Listen, every donor over $100, if there's 433 of you in here now, we need about 459, I think, $100 donors in the next 30 days, and we're done fundraising. Let's get 10 people tonight to donate at the $100 level. If you can give me something in the chat saying, yo, Maj, I got you with a hundo, cool. You're going to get access to Solutionary University. You're going to get access to all of the curriculums, all of the video modules. You take those at your leisure. That's firearms basics. Because I know all 400 of y'all in here ain't really shooting and training every day like you should. We have a simple blueprint for transformative information. You're going to get stronger, you're going to get smarter, and you're definitely going to be a better shooter. civics class, firearms basics, understanding imminent threat. We do macros for you. We give you workout routines. There's a private community of people working together to push America in the direction that we need to go, but we need your help. One, we're trying to buy this building. We got until October the 31st. We got 30 days left. I'm going to ask everybody to support the work at givesendgo.com/solutionary. Every single person that does it, you get what I just said as far as access to Solutionary University. Stop the Bleed class is coming up October the 15th. You'll have access to it. Okay? Support that. That's one thing I'm going to ask you to do. Second thing out of three. Second, repost. Copy and paste it. Put it across. Give a quote post on social media. We don't have no powerful Israeli government, rich forces supporting our work. We don't. We need you guys to support, and we do that also by spreading the message. They are trying to censor you. You are literally seeing sellouts. The people that we just showed and went over tonight. The people in this flyer right here, literally sellouts with a 18 million person reach. They got sold out for less than $900,000. They cheap hoes. I don't want to be a cheap hoe. I want to be a solutionary. We do that by cooperative economics and you guys supporting the actual work. This message, this show, the work stays independent and free, and I continue to work for you guys if you guys support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary, as well as share it. These people are literally being influencers to lead the young people in a direction that's stupid. And I'm not saying we got to be the guys that's promoting the bigotry. We ain't got to go extreme, right? We can be promoting unity while calling out the silliness and the international influence into our politics, because that's what's happening. Share this all over the place. Support the work. Third, last thing, still supporting the work. If you can't give $100, give 10. If you got 430 people in here, and if everybody gives $10, you guys can do math. Support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Thank you all for tapping in. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to be DMing everybody that got questions. I'm going to engage you guys right now. You can email me or DM me on X for the next hour or two. Shoot me a DM. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Be safe. Be solutionary.